These are not the firstlings of the flock, the small cattle of burnt offerings, whose bodies lie like dung on the ploughed field of the husbandman. This is not the savour of myrrh, of frankincense, or of sweet herbs that is steaming in your nostrils, but these bloody trunks are the carcasses of those that held the bow and the lance, who were cruel and would show no mercy, whose voice roared like the sea, who rode upon horses, every man in array as if to the battle. They are the carcasses even of the mighty men of war that came against Jacob in the day of his deliverance, and the smoke is that of the devouring fires that have consumed them. And these wild hills that surround you are not a sanctuary planked with cedar and plated with silver, nor are ye ministering priests at the altar, with censers and torches, but you hold in your hands the sword and the bow and the weapons of death. And yet, verily, I say to you, that not when the ancient temple was in its first glory was there offered sacrifice more acceptable than that which you have this day presented, giving to the slaughter the tyrant and the oppressor, with the rocks for your altar, and the sky for your vaulted sanctuary, and your own good swords for the instruments of sacrifice. Leave not, therefore, the plough in the furrow. Turn not back from the path in which you have entered, like the famous worthies of old, whom God raised up for the glorifying of his name and the deliverance of his afflicted people. Halt not in the race you are running, lest the latter end should be worse than the beginning. Wherefore, set up a standard in the land, blow a trumpet upon the mountains. Let not the shepherd tarry by his sheepfold, or the seedsman continue in the ploughed field, but make the watch strong. Sharpen the arrows, burnish the shields. Name ye the captains of thousands, and captains of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. Call the footmen like the rushing of winds, and cause the horsemen to come up like the sound of many waters. For the passages of the destroyers are stopped, their rods are burned, and their face of their men of battle hath been turned to flight. Heaven has been with you, and has broken the bow of the mighty. Let every man's heart be as the heart of the valiant Maccabeus, every man's hand as the hand of the mighty Samson, every man's sword as that of Gideon, which turns not back from the slaughter, for the banner of reformation is spread abroad on the mountains in its first loveliness, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Well is he this day that shall barter his house for a helmet, and sell his garment for a sword, and cast in his lot with the children of the covenant, even to the fulfilling of the promise. And woe, woe unto him who, for carnal ends and self-seeking, shall withhold himself from the great work, for the curse shall abide with him, even the bitter curse of Meroz, because he came not to help of the Lord against the mighty. Up then, and be doing. The blood of martyrs, reeking upon scaffolds, is crying for vengeance. The bones of saints which lie whitening in the highways are pleading for retribution. The groans of innocent captives from desolate isles of the sea and from the dungeons of the tyrant's high places cry for deliverance. The prayers of persecuted Christians, sheltering themselves in dens and deserts from the sword of their persecutors, famished with hunger, starving with cold, lacking fire, food, shelter and clothing, because they serve God rather than man, all are with you, pleading, watching, knocking, storming the gates of heaven in your behalf. Heaven itself shall fight for you, as the stars in their courses fought against Sisera. Then whoso will deserve immortal fame in this world, and eternal happiness in that which is to come, let them enter into God's service, and take alms at the hand of his servant, even a blessing upon him and his household, and his children to the 9th generation, even the blessing of the promise, for ever and ever. Amen.